Hello, beautiful friends. Janine here, Spirit Silver Moon. To talk to you guys today about, to ask you a question, and that is there something in your life that you can fix? Something that needs to be balanced. Because I think we pretty much all have that. And ask yourself, what holds you back from reaching out or taking that first step to create the balance, to bring it back, to repair something that matters to you. And what do you think it is that blocks us from that forward movement? Okay, so is it pain? I mean, sometimes people do things that appear mean, unkind, or hurtful, and maybe they are. But if we can try to understand where that behavior is coming from, so if we recognize that someone is behaving like that because they're in a place of pain, then we can realize that maybe it wasn't intended to harm us. And that's a cry for help in itself. So to not be offended and not take things personally is holding on to your power, because it's the ego, and we can't talk enough about the ego. The little me, the lower self that loves to feel offended because it strengthens this sense of self. So when you perceive that someone did something to you and you react to that, that is the ego. Okay, so you have this little story in your mind, this little scenario that you think happened. You react to it, not respond. Maybe you react in a negative way, thinking that you have been harmed, that you're a victim, that someone was mean to you, that they didn't care about you, or they don't care about your feelings. Well, they probably do care about your feelings, but if you're not aware that they're in a place that's messed up, and that that's where their behavior is coming from, then you do suffer. You know, we have our little stories, and we hold on to our stories, and we have misperceptions. We have things that we think are true, but maybe they're not true. So what if you're holding on to grudges and anger and resentment and sadness because you believe something that isn't even true? And guess what? If you didn't even communicate with that person to have a discussion about it, to find out where they're really coming from, what they really meant. Maybe 2 years later, after you've been holding your grudge, okay, you'll have a discussion with this person and you'll talk about it, and they'll say, oh yeah, I was having a really bad day that day, and I said a lot of things I didn't mean. And you've been carrying it for 2 years. It's choice. It's all choice. So I just would like to invite you to sit with the situation. Is it trying to teach you anything? We learn from everything and everyone. What is the situation trying to teach you? What did you learn from it? What can you learn from it? Be in gratitude for lessons. And what can you do to fix it? So having acceptance as well. So when you accept that this is the way it is right now, I don't like what they said, I don't like what they did, maybe I don't understand what they did, if you can even be at that level where you realize you don't understand what was meant or not. Okay, so but if you can just be aware that we have misperceptions about things. And if it's something that you can fix, if it means enough to you, if that person means enough to you and your connection with that person, isn't it worth it to extend that hand, to do what you need to do to get the communication going, to resolve the issue? Because it's probably something very simple that could be resolved, especially if you have an open space to allow it in, and to stop holding on to your grudges. That lower self should not be in charge of you. It's in charge of many of us. So I invite you to get in touch with your higher self. Okay? Peace.